It's Jeavons of the Year 2014.
As Jeavons of the Year, or the Jotties, as they're internationally known, enters its 5th year, I thought it'd be appropriate to take you back to the beginning of the Milton Keynes Jeavons story.
Of course, the Jeavonses have been around since Viking times, but I'm just interested in the modern day Milton Keynes Jeavonses. The family that came to the new city many years ago as pioneers, sowed their seed and colonised the area. For the younger generations, this will no doubt be enlightening, if not gross, and for us older ones who lived this story, possibly traumatic. But it's a story that deserves to be told and documented for future generations.
Our story begins here, what was originally known as the Orson Welles School, named after the famous actor, now the Redway School.
Back in 1977, when Milton Keynes was emerging from the mud, the local education authority decided to build this school for spastics, as they were then termed, and believed strongly that it should be run by Jesus, or failing that, a bearded hippie at least. Their search resulted in the appointment of the now legendary, in Stony Stratford anyway, Trevor Jeavons.
So, in 1978, the Jeavons family upped sticks and moved to this modern luxury townhouse in Milton Keynes, the new city.
Unfortunately, the move split the family. At that time, the eldest sibling Della was studying for her exams in Cambridge at the I'm So Clever Grammar School for Girls. So she made the painful decision to part from her beloved brothers and stayed behind to complete her schooling. Also, Nancy, Nan Fernside, had been a member of the household in Cambridgeshire, and she had also decided to remain there. Of course, the youngest brother Josh hadn't been invented yet, so family numbers really were depleted at this time. This house was quite a landmark on the Jeavons family timeline. It became an unofficial youth centre with youngsters congregating at all hours, coming and going, a hub of the community. This is where Della first got together with the future father of her children, Mark Lovejoy Golding. It's also where Glyn first fell head over heels for his Back to the Future wife Leslie Kawasaki. I myself learnt to play bass guitar with the help of crazy Kevin Cranfield next door. Something that has enriched all our lives, I'm sure you'd agree.
So, whilst Trevor set to work with his new school, putting it all together, Jane, his wife, gained employment with the Milton Keynes Development Corporation, a place where even the women had sideburns, and Dylan, that's me, brothers Mark and Glyn, attended school here, occasionally.
In time, Della, Corinne and Josh would also attend Stantonbury, along with many other family members, each adding to the legendary status that the Jeavons name has there. In the early days, Stantonbury was a school of the hard knocks. It was no place for the faint-hearted. It was a place where, if someone said that you were on fire, you probably were, as Mark was to find out. A place where, if you weren't on fire, you'd still get a soaking from a fire extinguisher, as Mel was to find out. A place where you called teachers by their first name, even before you slept with them. It was to this harsh backdrop that the Jeavons lads were to build their bad boy reputation, only to be enhanced when their formidable sister Della, or Punky Porky as she was affectionately known, joined them in her sixth form days. And let's not forget little Corin, as Leslie likes to call him, who was at primary school at this time and could often be found in the playground stretching his ears with a shoehorn.
Here we are at the appropriately named Jeeves Close. This is the site of Pear Tree Centre, just back there, now long gone, youth club cum art centre that the Jeavons youths spent a lot of time in.
The teenage Jeavons boys ran this busy little venue like it was their own mafia headquarters. Gang warfare between rival youth clubs was commonplace and ultimately spiralled out of control, resulting in the building being destroyed by a suicide bomber. Mark Jeeves Jeavons saved the lives of many on that day by dragging them to safety with the straps of his bondage trousers. In tribute to Mark's heroism, this new development was named after him.
The end of Pear Tree Centre was the end of an era for brothers Dylan, Mark and Glyn. Apart from the gangland lifestyle that they left behind, they had also become successful pop stars in their own rights. This was a time for the Jeavons family to regroup, and it brought them here, to Arncliffe Drive, Heelands. This is the place where, in years to come, their younger brother Josh would be conceived and born. Bearing in mind this is before hospitals were invented.
For the youngest at the time, Corin, this meant moving on from his collection of Smurfs and discovering his special purpose. For myself, it meant spending hours in my bedroom honing my fingering skills on the bass guitar. For Mark, the new home was short-lived, as he left to live in a house with fellow punk rockers. For Glyn, likewise, time to get a flat. And for Della, well, she wasn't invited. With Josh's arrival, the family of 7 had now become 8, but that was just the start of it. In some kind of Jeavons super sperm frenzy, Josh, Carmel and Ricky were all conceived within 7 months of each other. So in 1985, the colonisation of Milton Keynes began in earnest.
Over the next 3 decades, the Jeavons family grew and grew. In last year's census, it was revealed that 36% of the population of Milton Keynes are in fact Jeavonses. Quite some achievement, I'm sure you'll agree.
So now you're all up to speed with the Jeavons story, the Milton Keynes era anyway, let's get on with what we're all really here for. Jeavons of the year 2014. But what's it all about?
Well, it's something I devised because I saw a lot of strength, bravery and sacrifice being exhibited by certain family members, and I was concerned that they weren't being acknowledged for their efforts. Over the past few years, it's been an opportunity to sing their praises and to let them know that their efforts haven't passed unnoticed and are much appreciated. A celebration, if you like, of what is best about the Jeavons character. As the current Jeavons of the year, it falls to me to select the new worthy winner. There are, of course, many contenders to the throne, but my choice, I think, is quite an obvious one. It's also a long overdue one, as this isn't awarded for what they have achieved this year. Although they have achieved a lot, it's awarded for what they did a few years ago, before this award existed. But before we get on to that, let's look at the top 10 contenders for this year's award.
At number 10, Leslie Vegan for setting up her own business. At 9, Anna for creating a new life in Australia. At 8, Aidan for being a hooping champion extraordinaire. At 7, Cherry for setting up her amazing jewellery business. A non-mover at 6, Ricky for being a very clever Chinese chappie. At number 5, Marlon for creating Lila. A new entry at 4, Lila, just for being awesome. In at number 3, Carmel for promotion at work and bagging an amazing house. A close runner-up at 2, Max for travelling the world, nailing a new job and starting a new life in Brighton. But at number 1, it's Joe!
Jevla! That's right, Joe. Despite your occasional drunken foolery, you are Jeavons of the Year 2014. Seriously though, it's for what you did a few years ago as a young man, a teenager, fighting a potentially fatal illness in the way that you did with such strength of character. For us lot around you, apart from feeling kind of helpless at the time, we just found it really inspiring. It was, you know, something that none of us will ever forget, really. And what you did, fighting the ultimate fight and winning your life, is something that just can't be bettered. So, albeit a few years late, this is yours, mate. Enjoy. Be responsible as the head of the Jeavons family for the next 12 months when you're opening shops and things like that. Yeah, enjoy, mate. Everybody watching this, please charge your glasses, raise a glass to Joe, Jeavons of the Year 2014. May he have the best life ever. Joe.